WIZ.info. The Wiz thanks you for allowing him to be your community servant.
Indeed I do, indeed I do. For it's an honor to serve each and every one of you 24/7, 365. You know, so many people either are fearful of trading and investing, or B, they are ignorant about how to truly get P.A.I.D from trading and investing. Now, ignorance, as I often say, is the oldest business known to mankind, and it's also the most profitable business known to mankind, because people monetize your ignorance. You pay for being ignorant in a capitalistic society. Oh, yes, you do. And now what we're going to do is dispel some of that ignorance. See, ignorance keeps you in the darkness. Our objective is to bring you into the light, to develop your third eye and your third ear so that you can get P.A.I.D. Bull bear, you don't care. Whether or not the markets are going up or whether or not the markets are going down, you have to get paid. And the uber wealthy and the institutional investors do just that. Now, so far this summer, the market has managed to defy the odds, making progress at a time of this year. It usually doesn't do just that, but it is doing that now on the hopes that President Donald Trump, His Royal Highness, will further implement his economic growth agenda. Now, the S&P 500 index on average is usually up 4.7% by late July, but this year it was higher to the tune of 9.6%. Now, yes, we're about to enter an especially slow time of the year, leading up to one of the only 2 months out of the 12 that generally dishes out a loss for the markets. We're talking about the month of September. Now, it's conceivable that traders could use the recent rally as a profit-taking opportunity before the typical September pullback begins. Now, with that as the backdrop, I want you, me, we, the ASK THE WIZ Wealth Institute family, to take a closer look at 5 positions that will get us P.A.I.D as put option candidates. Now, these positions are either alarmingly overbought, or they have a seasonality where they usually perform poorly during the month of August, or both. So in no certain order, I'm going to give you 5 put option candidates upon completion of the appropriate drill down during the month of August that will get you P.A.I.D. First position is ABV, symbol ABBV. And like always, we don't give you a position without giving you the empirical evidence to confirm what we're saying so that you can go back and do your own due diligence. Now, ABV, symbol ABBV, is a position I want to submit to you. Now, no matter how you slice it, the next 3 months are apt to be ugly months for drug maker AbbVie. Even in the average bullish year, AbbVie, symbol once again ABBV, peels back a couple of percentage points between the end of July and October's low. And in an average year, the stock gives up all of its 12% gain before hitting bottom in late October. Now, there's also the not so minor fact that AbbVie shares are starting this particular month of August. They're starting this month out technically overbought, up 20% for the year so far. Therefore, it's earning it a spot on a list to sell sooner than later. And the market knows this. To that end, would-be profit takers may have just gotten the excuse they needed to get the selling ball rolling. And we can't forget, just last week, a jury concluded that AbbVie's misrepresented its low testosterone treatment, androgel, and was financially liable for the mistake. Now, this first verdict is just one of many potential ones, just like that, which could nag at AbbVie for years to come. ABV, put option, month of August, and perhaps September, okay, upon completion of the appropriate drill down. Now, this next position I'm going to give you, that's a prime put option candidate during this month, is going to surprise many, many of you, because it's the summer months, which is basically thought of as the vacation months for most people in the United States. I'm talking about Disney, symbol D-I-S. Yes, Disney is a prime put option candidate for the month of August. So let me give you the empirical evidence. Let me explain. Now, one would think Walt Disney Company, symbol DIS, would be a huge summertime winner, in that consumers tend to invest in what they see and experience. And there's nothing more summer-like than a vacation to one of Disney's theme parks or resorts. Oddly enough, though, summer is generally a tough time of year for Disney. There aren't a lot of major sports events to drive TV watchers to its ESPN property. And people are more apt to be outside enjoying the weather than inside watching television or going to the movies. They're not really making the investment connection. The end result, DIS stock usually loses 4% of its value between the beginning of August and the end of September. I repeat, Disney, symbol DIS, its stock usually loses 4% of its value between the beginning of August and the end of September. At best, it breaks even for the 2-month stretch. But I want to warn you, don't you tarry along too long. Don't you wait too long. With the next installment in the Star Wars franchise due later this year, along with another Avengers sequel, Disney is well armed for a strong finish to this year, 2017. And it should have no problem justifying its usual gains during Q4. So you pop Disney now for the put, okay? And I'm talking about for August and no longer than the end of September. And you will get P.A.I.D. Next position I want to give you is Allergon, symbol ALLE. Now, if you've never heard of Allergon, don't worry about it. Most people haven't. It's a security hardware company with a market cap of only $7.5 billion, and therefore it doesn't turn a lot of heads. Whatever the case, though, it's on this list of stocks to sell or take a put option on for one crystal clear reason. It rarely, if ever, has a bullish July-September stretch. On average, ALLE loses 11% of its value between the beginning of August and its September low. Now, this time around could be even worse, as it's beginning to drop from a higher than usual height. Now, that said, this is another name you don't want to bet against for too long. You don't want to be long in that put option position, because ALL shares are priced at an affordable forward-looking PE ratio of 18.7, while earnings are projected to grow 11.6% this year and 13.7% next year. Now, the rising tide of smart home and home security demand is lifting all of these boats, and Allergen has a particular place in the smart home and home security arena. The next position I want to give you to get your P.A.I.D. as a put option during the month of August upon completion of the appropriate drill down is Quest Diagnostics. Quest Diagnostics, symbol DGX. Now, Quest Diagnostics is a name that needs no introduction or explanation. Unfortunately, it is also a name that does need to be bought, or that does not need to be bought, I should say, until mid-September, after the company has worked out all of its kinks. You see, DGX shares typically lose about 5% of their value between early August and late September, and more than half of that if it's running ahead of its usual pace like it is this year. Now, Quest Diagnostics posted a respectable second quarter earnings beat a week ago and simultaneously upped its full year outlook. Not only did the stock not move higher in response to that, it actually peeled back, sending a loud message that little is going to motivate the bulls here to buy up Quest Diagnostics, symbol DGX. Keep it as a put, okay, during the month of August and September, and you will get P.A.I.D. Quest Diagnostics, symbol DGX. And the last but not least position I want to give you to get your P.A.I.D. as a put during the month of August and perhaps the month of September is J.B. Hunt Transportation Services. J.B. Hunt Transportation Services, symbol JBHT. Now, JBHT is on this list of positions to consider for a put option, because not unlike Walt Disney's Summertime Law, there are cyclical forces in play here as well as psychological ones. You see, demand for trucking doesn't necessarily wane in the middle of the year, no, but it does tend to fall out of sight for most investors. Now, if there aren't any interested buyers, then guess what? A stock's not going to rally no matter how worthy it may be, because of what? No volume. That's it. JB Hunt, and once again, that symbol is JBHD, posted second quarter earnings last week, making it clear it was facing a growing expense headwind, the kinds of costs that don't abate quickly or easily. Now, this reality check, if you will, makes JBHT even more vulnerable to a near-term pullback, family members, than it usually is at this time of year. And it usually gives up 8% of its value between the end of July and the end of September. It doesn't get any easier than this. Straight up put option candidates upon completion of appropriate drill down to get your P.A.I.D during the month of August and perhaps part of September. They are as follows. JB Hunt Transportation Services, symbol JBHT. Quest Diagnostics, symbol DGX. Once again, Quest Diagnostics, symbol DGX. Allergen PLC, symbol ALLE. Disney, believe it or not, symbol DIS. ABV, symbol ABBV. And you get P.A.I.D via put options during the month of August and stretching into the month of September, providing you with actionable intelligence, not a bunch of talk and a bunch of rhetoric, but actionable intelligence that will get you P.A.I.D. That's exactly what we do inside the Ask the Wiz Wealth Institute